Hi, I'm Lovoni.
And I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Lovoni and Sarah podcast. If you've not guessed it already, today Lovoni and I are talking about sex. It's not just feeling less desirable, there are medical conditions that coexist with obesity that can affect performance and drive. One of the biggest obstacles to enjoying sex at any size is poor body image. Hating the way your body looks frequently causes people to feel so self-conscious that desire is completely inhibited. I'm going to dive straight in, Lovoni.
Okay.
But I think my question would be, has your attitude towards sex changed with you gaining weight over the years? And has that been gradual, or did you suddenly find a massive change? Like one day you woke up and felt different?
No, it's massively changed, yes.
Okay.
And it has been gradual. Definitely.
Right.
I used to love sex. I probably still do.
Okay.
But my discord with how my body looks currently far outweighs my desire to have sex. And I'm sure that many people that put on weight feel like that. Mm-hmm. Just because, the insecurities or whatever.
Confidence.
Yeah, and confidence. I think that there was often, you hear people say, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. Until I moved to North America, I never had that. I thought I was quite uninhibited. Right. Now I'm the opposite. Mm-hmm. I liked the way my body looked. I was fit and I was healthy and, I was fine. I wasn't worried about all the ponky, squishy bits and stuff.
Yeah.
And, to a certain degree, even when I started to put on a bit of weight, I wasn't too worried about them. But now I do. I mean, to the point where that, there are some men that are really into fat women, like really fat women.
Yeah, like a fetish.
I probably wouldn't be fat enough for
their fetish.
Yes. Yeah. But even to be with a man like that loved rolls and fat and holding on to them and wouldn't make a scrap of difference to how I feel about myself. No, because it's not about, no man is going to make me feel sexy or it's nice to have that, but right now wouldn't matter what anybody said or did. That needs to come from within me.
That's as you said that's interesting, because I think almost feeling sexy and sex is something completely different.
Oh, I think so. Like, because I can feel sexy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not in the moment. Like, I can feel sexy if I'm just put something on at home to work that I like, and because I feel confident and I feel good and I feel comfortable. Yeah. And I think with that confidence and comfort and all the rest of it is sexy anyway. Exactly. Yeah. But
I'm just thinking, so sex in itself then is actually there's a whole number of reasons that people have sex, isn't there? I mean, it's not just one thing. But if you're thinking about relationship sex, for example, and you're attracted to your partner, it's really because you're attracted to them because of the way that you feel about them. And I don't mean that sex is a form of love, which is what I've been guilty of in the past, thinking it was. But actually your sexual attraction to them is because of the connection between the two of you. And then that means it's almost irrelevant how you look, because actually it's about that connection in your relationship. But what's putting you off mentally is saying you don't feel sexy enough to then want to do the act of sex. But actually it's completely two different things, isn't it?
I know, but I just don't. I mean, I could still have sex. It wouldn't be the same.
No, I think that's the difference, isn't it? Yeah.
So mentally, and for me, and I think a lot of women, it's a mind thing. So if you're, if you're angry with your partner or upset or whatever, you're exhausted, you don't feel attractive or all of the above, it's hard to get, in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, the other thing that hormones, so menopause and things, causes a massive change in your sex drive as well.
See, and I never had that problem. I think because my sex...
It didn't for me, but I think... No. I think that I've got close friends that's definitely impacted them, definitely. And then they've started taking sort of HRT, and then they've sort of regulated again, and it feels a lot better.
Right.
So yes, I think that's one factor that can definitely influence.
I think it became more painful.
Right.
With menopause. That's definitely a subject we have to, an episode we have to do.
Yes.
Is
but even things like
menopause.
tiredness, time, if you've got young family, you know, it just, or medication. Some people's medication makes a massive impact in their mood and their feeling
and their health. I mean, that can affect, especially men. You know, it can affect, you know, blood flow.
Dysfunction and everything.
Smoking, I know that's bad for...
or drinking as well.
Yeah, drinking too much. Yeah. And, you know, go on.
I just think I think it's trying to really accept it's the way about you feel about yourself rather than sex itself, but that is so different from actually having sex. And then when you're in bed with someone, it's then, do you feel self-conscious, and does that overrule the enjoyment of what you're doing? Because you're supposed to be enjoying it. This is not a function. This is not something you're supposed to think that you have to do. So if you're so self-conscious, does that overrule what you're actually doing during sex and being in bed? Do you feel like, don't touch me, don't
touch me there, I don't want to, don't look at me, that I don't want you to see that role there. I mean, I think I don't know, definitely it plays a role. It doesn't necessarily mean I don't want to have it.
Okay.
Because
it's just how you feel in it.
It's how I feel, but it's also just, I think there's so many other outside influences as well.
Yeah.
And how you feel about, you know, your partner at the time, like I was saying before, if you're upset or whatever, they pissed you off. But, you know, a lot of women are tired. A lot of men are tired too. You know, have to, you know, both ways. But definitely being overweight makes a difference.
It does. But I think, don't you find that it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy? You know, the less you have it, the less you then have it. And it's almost one of those things. You almost get out of a habit, which sounds an awful thing. Right. But then you can sort of go, oh my God, it's been weeks, months, whatever.
Yes.
And you're like, how has that even happened? But it's because you've just got out of the habit. And I think the pressure then is what can stop you then having it, because you then think, but now I feel like I have to, because I haven't for however long.
Right.
Not that you'd ever feel in that pressured situation, hopefully, with anyone's partner. You know, that's not what I'm saying, but it's internal dialogue. You suddenly think, oh God, is that something that I should be doing? And all of those questions start to come up. But it is one of those things, I think, the less you have sex for whatever the reason is, the less likely you are. Yeah.
It's like cake. You know, the more you have, the more you want, right?
The more you want it, exactly.
But if you don't eat it, then it's fine.
Yeah.
You might every now and then want it.
I mean, I know that men feel self-conscious about their body.
Right.
And then they also feel that they're not good enough, or they don't have this great body to sort of attract a woman and all that sort of thing. And actually, the reality of that is absolute bullshit. You know, it's not, you don't have to have a six-pack for a woman to find you attractive. Mostly, if you're an arrogant twat, that's when you're not attractive. That's the things that people need to remember. Is actually attraction is so much more than just the physical body. But that's the same for you too. So if you're saying, you know, you feel unattractive because of your body, it's so much more than what what weight you are. But it's easy to fall into that trap.
Maybe I'm superficial, because not that about the whole six-pack.
You want a six-pack? 25 and a six-pack will be fine.
It's nice to be with somebody that takes care of themselves, that doesn't, you know, smell, for starters. I think smell's got it. I think smell has a lot to do with it.
Well, cleanliness is kind of
cleanliness. Yeah. But I think that it is nice to be with somebody that's fit and healthy. I'm not going to apologise for that or sound superficial.
Much, you know?
Really, hey?
No.
I don't want like a fat stomach.
Don't you?
No, God.
Do you know, it does not bother me one bit.
Oh,
not one bit.
Good for you.
I tell you, I'm an angel.
You are. And she has no guilt.
No guilt.
Yeah, and see, I have no guilt for saying that I physically need to be attracted to them, as well as mentally. There's that.
I mean, I do need to be physically attracted to them, but I'm attracted to them not just because they've got a certain physique.
Right.
So of course I have to find that a spark of attraction.
Like a saggy, hairy ass doesn't. That's fine.
Well, it's not something I'm focusing in on, if I'm honest.
Right.
I think if I'm that attracted to someone and I'm that connected with someone, it doesn't enter my head going, oh my God, your ass is wobbly. It just wouldn't, because I'm in the moment and it's about what we've got together, not about a six pack or a whatever. But that said, if I found them hideous for whatever reason, clearly I wouldn't be in that situation to start with.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't need to have that whole sort of toned, I mean, don't get me wrong. If they happen to look like that, then I'd be like,
fine.
I'm not going to go, right, kick you out of bed. I'm sorry, you're a bit too...
Yeah, a bit too
buffed.
buffed.
It's never been top of my list, ever.
What about the whole size thing? You know, you hear that size doesn't matter. I think that's bullshit too.
What, of his cock?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, maybe I'm fortunate enough to have never come across a situation where I've had to worry about that.
Right. That's really only ever happened to me once. And
it was very small.
Yes, and it was twice. It was startling, but anyway.
I've had once it happened to me startling the other way, and I just thought,
oh, yeah, that's frightening.
Yeah, it is quite frightening. Yeah, but no, I'm obviously quite lucky. I've never been in that situation.
Right. Oh, that's good. Because I mean, but think about it. Do you think that I think that's bullshit.
Would it put me off? I guess maybe you might be a bit surprised, but again, it depends on if it's like a one night stand situation.
Be about.
Then I'd be maybe. But then you think, God, how awful for them, because they must be very aware of that. And what are they going to do to get around it?
I know, but that's not my problem. Well, it is, I guess.
Well, it certainly isn't that Melbourne. But then that's why your head then starts to panic, because you do have a bit of a superficial view of the man.
Yeah.
You're then thinking they're going to be thinking the same thing
about me. Well, but I think mine is more that I don't like me. And I'm sure my husband would prefer me to look more like, he would never say that, but how I used to look when he first met me as opposed to now. That's the difference,
isn't it? I think you can still have a great sex life no matter what your size is, subject to mobility, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But could it be even more of a spark if you were a healthy size and weight?
Yes,
definitely.
I
think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that is true. So as much as I think that you can still have a great relationship, a sexual relationship at the size you are now, potentially it might be even more of a sparky one if you were both, healthy weight and, fit and all that sort of stuff. But then what can happen the other way round is if you do feel rejected for whatever reason, that's a vicious cycle the other way as well, isn't it? Because if you sort of feel like you've been judged because of your size, or for whatever reason it's dwindled for a while, and you sort of think, oh, it's because I've gained weight, or it's because he sort of thinks, oh, because my belly's got too big, or whatever it might be.
Right.
That then creates this talk in your head and this negative cycle, and then you end up having it even less. And it makes you feel really shit. It does me. I would be like, it must be... You start to doubt, don't you? You start to doubt, think, is it because it's the way I look, or is it because of something I've done, or something along those lines? Where
if I don't feel good and I don't want to do it, then that's good. That
do you walk around naked in front of him?
No.
How long has it been since you've walked around naked in front of him?
Ever, always.
No way.
Yeah.
What, even when you first met?
When I first met, I think I did. But yeah, I'd put on weight because I'd had been living in Canada for 9 years. Yeah.
So you've never just walked around naked in front of him?
No.
Crikey.
I even can't stand looking at myself in the mirror naked, let alone somebody else.
I wasn't saying put a portrait. I'm just saying.
No.
Lie there like
and you know
Rose on the Titanic.
Well, you know what's funny though? My mum used to say that I had no what was the word? I have to think of it. Anyway, I never worried about. We used to lie on the beaches in Sydney and sunbake topless and get up and get in the water, and
I've not done that.
Like, it never bothered me.
I've done it once and I felt so uncomfortable. I was
like,
really? I'm just going to put my top on. I can't do it. Yeah.
I've been to the beach with my mates and they've seen them. And they're just friends, like guy friends.
Okay.
And I didn't care. Yeah, I didn't care. But, yeah, not now.
But does that not affect your relationship, the fact that you're not willing to be naked in front of each other?
Yeah. Oh, no, I mean, he will be.
He'll strut about, yeah.
Right, but not me. Yeah. But I will. It will change.
Does that mean you always wear something quite covering in bed as well, then?
Oh, God, no. No, I can't. The less that I have on in bed, the better.
So what do you do? Just like jump in naked and don't
God,
look?
no. I've never liked sleeping naked. Ever.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I just don't. Whether, I don't know.
A bit vulnerable.
Yeah, maybe. But no, I just wear like a short nightie. That I can't stand anything on my legs or my arms.
I once had this conversation with a friend many, many years ago about wearing something to bed or not. And one friend, there's three of us, said that they thought it was more sexy to go to bed naked. And the other friend said, no, I disagree. I think it's sexy to go to bed with something on and then you take it off, like in the heat of the moment. And I'm like, I sort of flip between sometimes I wear something, sometimes I don't. It was not, a major thing, but it's really, they were really quite strong on their points of view of both. And they're going, absolutely not. It's way more sexy to be naked in bed.
Yeah, see, I couldn't decide on that either. Because I think sometimes the whole taking the,
that's what she said.
getting the gear off, is good. Huh.
So but that's interesting.
It is.
I've never felt the need to cover up at home.
Huh.
I mean, I don't mean downstairs.
Right.
I mean, so people are like, what address does she live at?
People outside camped with binoculars.
Noses against the window.
Yeah.
Like that.
I was never like that. Once upon a time. Ever.
Okay. So what will take you to get back to that then? Just you'll do is just lose the weight.
To feel healthy and strong again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just to
do you feel
like
do you feel a bit more peppy after you've done your exercise? Is there more of a temptation that you feel sexy then?
Oh no, I always feel good after my exercises. Yeah.
But would you feel like more inclined to have sex then? Yeah.
I get it at odd times.
Right.
I think if he was here now, I'd have sex.
Okay.
But it's just at the most inappropriate times.
Yeah.
So usually.
You don't. Can I just clarify? You don't mean like right now, do you? When you said
we're good.
Okay. Awkward moment. I'm like that. Now.
And it's not something I used to think about it a lot. But it's not something I think about that much anymore. No, because I'm really focused on me and my health. And I know that's part of it. It's part of the healthy relationship. But it's just not
something on your radar.
On my radar at the moment. If it happens, it happens. But, I don't know. It's just not.
Well, the other thing about your, not a person's size, if you are carrying extra weight, is it definitely affects your mobility, doesn't it? So the actual process of having sex is harder if you're bigger.
I guess so. I don't know. I'm pretty flexible. It is because of my knees, even though I've got new knees. But you can get quite creative though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I mean, surely.
But for really big, yeah.
Yeah, surely it's got to be harder if you are substantially overweight because physically there's sort of places to move around, and even the logistics of the size of you and getting to where they need to get to and all that sort of stuff. Right. It is harder, isn't it, if the bigger you are?
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's off-putting to the partner, the one that's not overweight, whether the fact that you can't move around properly, or not you, a person can't move around properly, whether that's then a bit of an off-putting to them or not, or whether it doesn't matter. Would you? Okay, you're the one that's the superficial one. Would that would that put you off? Say you weren't overweight and your husband was, which meant he couldn't move around to do the things that you'd want him to do in bed. Would that put? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so there's the answer.
I'm nodding my head. Yes. Yeah. Oh, totally. But I can move around and stuff.
Yeah.
And, pretty flexible.
But I guess some people can't, because
it's...
And so that then is going to have a big impact on it as well.
So I read this yesterday that I have to share. So web queries on internet pornography, right? Websites for fat, when people Google fat.
Right.
On a porn site, outpaced skinny or slim, and there was a woman who was, I'm going to convert all these.
Okay.
462 pounds, which is 33 stone, which is 210 kilos. She has been able to make a living out of eating for the camera. And I was like, fuck me, I've missed my calling.
Where do I sign up?
Right? So, yeah, so she'd just get naked and eat, and it would just turn men on.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. And how many hits have she had, do you know?
It didn't say. I should have clicked on the link that said where it came from. But, yeah. Uh-huh.
Wowza.
Isn't that amazing?
So I wonder if people are watching that through a porn site, then basically that's obviously something that they gets them off, they find it attractive, but they're keeping it secret. You know, it's kind of, because the whole world of this is kind of this like underground sort of thing. It's potentially not something that they're going to then have a chat over a pint at the pub about, is it?
Right.
So that's interesting, isn't it? So maybe the society's pressure says you're supposed to find a certain sort of person attractive, but yet really deep down they find someone else attractive, but they don't know how to say that, so they watch it just on a porn site.
I don't know. I have a friend who is really into like fat women.
Right.
And I mean, he's told me about it. He talks about it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know whether he watches them on porn site or not.
No.
We haven't gone into that detail.
That far.
But
No.
I just know that he likes fat women.
Does he tell you what about it that he finds attractive?
I've not asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the bit I'd be.
But now I'm going to. I should have asked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I will ask him that.
Like, what exactly is it that he finds attractive about it?
I was thinking, I don't know what sort of relationship you have with your doctor, but I was also reading...
Not a sexual one.
Right, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really, that if you have... I read this. If you are someone who has very negative feelings about your body image, then getting treatment that works towards improving self-esteem would automatically be reflected in your desire for sex and your ability to achieve sexual fulfillment, regardless of your size. See, I think that's codswallop. A good place to start is your family doctor. And I thought I could not think of anything worse than going to my GP and just saying, you know...
My libido's off.
Well, I don't even think that it is. I just don't like myself, don't like the way I look right now. Therefore, you know,
I don't want to have sex.
I'm not enjoying it as much, or I worry about it. Yeah. And don't feel that desire as much. I just couldn't imagine saying that to my doctor.
Although, I guess that they then...
And then have them... only because I don't trust them to come up with a viable solution.
Wow,
because it said about, you know, or finding someone that can help you appreciate your body how it is. It's like, fuck no. I don't appreciate my body how it is right now, which is why I'm getting healthy. If I did
but we've had this conversation so many times.
I know.
You still can do that. It doesn't have to be either or.
But I just, no. I don't.
So you can still... dress and make yourself feel sexy,
well, I do all that.
And then be attracted to your husband and then have an enjoyable sex life. All of that can still happen at the same time as you working on the journey to get to a healthier place. But then
the whole time I'd be thinking about, wiggle, God,
what I mean.
We're going to start a bloody earthquake.
You wouldn't care about it.
But no, those thoughts are there in my mind.
And what about then if you've had a few drinks so you don't think about it? Does that make any difference?
No, I'd still think about it. This is like a therapy session for Lovoni.
I know. I know. I'm going to sit here. Right, Lovoni, tell me a bit more. Okay. I'm going to sort you out.
Because I know that, but it's like no part of convincing me. No, like there is no convincing me. I
agree with you, right? I agree with you that I think that you will have a better sex life and he probably will be more sexually attracted to you when you've got rid of the weight. Right. I don't disagree with you about that. I'm not trying to like bullshit about anything.
Yeah.
but I still maintain that there doesn't have to be this waiting period between
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to wait.
then.
Oh, my God.
No,
I'm not going to wait that long.
But in the middle of that, you can't just do it as a functionality thing, because the moment you're describing is the fact that you hate your body so much that you couldn't possibly enjoy it. Because you've been worried about it all the time.
I'd still enjoy it. But then there's those thoughts, not as much, yeah.
That's fair, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's fair, isn't it? Because
not as much.
Want to feel perkier about it.
Well, yeah. See, and I also think, I wrote this down, to be really, truly intimate with someone, sexually and emotionally, you have to be able to trust them, right? But not just trust them that they won't hurt you, but, well, I guess, like, not hurt you physically, but trust them with your emotions and thoughts and stuff. And so, for example, if you put barriers up, right, then your partner feels defensive, because I know I put barriers up, and they put barriers up, which is what happens, okay? And then that causes more of that chasm between couples. And then there's disconnect. So when you start feeling emotionally distanced from each other, then you're less likely to want to have sex or enjoy the sex you had.
Do you know, it's interesting. I saw a reel the other day about it. She was a young woman who is married, and she said that every night they make out.
Right.
Because what they had found was that generally this can be men. I'm not going to make that as always, but that if you're making out, snogging, whatever you want to call it, French kissing, then it means you're going to have sex. So it's kind of what's happened is this direct sort of journey of like, you do that, then you do that, then you do that, and then this is what's going to happen. And they had a conversation that says, I don't want it always to have to be about that. I love the intimacy of kissing. I love the intimacy of cuddling passionately or whatever, without it having to be that it's always going to lead to the act of sex. So in this reel that she was talking about, that every single night they make out, and sometimes it might lead to sex and other times it might not, but it's taken the pressure off of, sometimes you might just fancy a snog. Right. But actually they got to the point of thinking, I can't, because then he's going to think I want sex, and actually I don't want sex right now. I just wanted to have a snog. So by doing that, they've removed that pressure. And I wonder if that happens for some people. They just almost get a bit scared that they don't want to be intimate because it might be a bit too much intimacy, and I just don't want to do that tonight for whatever reason. I'm tired, I'm whatever, feel a bit crappy about myself. So that's the other thing. I think you can remember that you can still have intimacy without you actually having a sex, and even if you haven't got, because every relationship goes through ups and downs, doesn't it? Even if you aren't in a season where you're having a lot of sex or sex at all, you can still be very intimate with that person, whether that's holding each other to go to sleep, whether that is kissing.
I couldn't stand that. Thank God my husband's not like that. Well, for starters, I flip around, so I drive somebody mad. But that whole, oh my God, do you go to sleep like that?
Sometimes, yeah. Oh. And then sometimes I get too hot and you're going to have to move away.
Oh, yeah, I burn hot anyway. I'm sure it'd just be awful.
And he's like, you're so boiling, so he moves away. But yeah, sometimes.
I snuggle Ramsey. I don't mind doing that, but I don't do it for very long, and then I turn over. Ramsey's our dog, by the way, just for people that don't know.
You don't actually go to the resort of having put pillows in between the two of you down the bed, do you?
Not all the way down, no.
Well, you do?
No, I don't. But we have Ramsey there. Ramsey sleeps in between us. Yeah.
In fact, when we went away at the weekend, the dog was between us. Well, one of the dogs, the sausage dog, was between us.
Oh, right.
And we had that same thing, like, oh, right, well, she's there then. So we can't possibly, hug to go to sleep. Right. So we're like, night, from over the other side of the bed.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we have a king-size bed, and me with my, long pterodactyl arms. I can't even reach him from my side. Yeah.
Oh, wow, so you've got your own lane. Sometimes I do kick off about the fact that my lane gets intruded upon when I'm trying to sleep. Feet come over.
Really?
Get over into your own lane.
Oh, yeah, no. No. Because, I'm not a great sleeper anyway. Although, up until 2 nights ago, I was doing pretty well. But, so any intrusion like that, no.
But maybe that's something that would help with regards to you can create this intimacy, because actually that doesn't rely on your body shape or your size or anything like that, does
Right,
it?
no.
You see what I mean? So all of that could happen without the pressure of having to feel like you're actually going to have sex, because that then, like we said earlier, that then builds this sort of momentum if actually you've just got a very intimate, tactile, sort of physical relationship without actually then feeling comfortable enough about your body to have full sex.
Right.
You're not looking convinced. You're like,
well, no, I'm thinking, who's going to be listening to this? I was going to tell you something, but I thought, no, I might just hold off on that. Yeah.
There's some things.
Even though
we're being very honest.
We are being very honest. Yeah,
that I think perhaps are not.
Yeah, but anyway.
But that's something to consider, and for people to then to have a think about if they have found themselves where they've created this barrier for themselves where they don't feel that they're embarrassed even to try and break through, thinking, I don't know how to initiate this now because I've left it too long, or I'm shy, or it's ridiculous with your partner. But it does, all of those feelings can still happen, can't they? Particularly if you're not body confident. Then maybe that's something you could approach, is just being intimate with each other without it having to lead to sex. You're still not. You're like, that ain't happening. Do you not love a good snog? I love a snog.
God, I can't remember the last time I had a. You mean like just kissing?
Well, yes, or with tongues or whatever.
Oh my God, I can't remember the last time that happened.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no. That doesn't go on.
This is the picture you're painting. I won't be naked. I won't kiss.
Well, no, I like kissing. I like kissing. We just don't. We don't.
Well,
I mean, always.
Tonight's the night.
I have to say, no. We always kiss, like goodnight and goodbye and all of that, but not like the big snogging fest.
Is that not like platonic?
No. I don't kiss my friends like that. Not on the
mouth.
No. But
then I think that's something you can accidentally fall into. Habit, tasks, routine, all of that kicks in, and all of a sudden you find yourself just a bit like, like a platonic relationship, because you've just got so inundated with all of the things that need doing. You suddenly realise, like, I've not actually. I mean, my son moans because me and my partner hold hands all the time. We cuddle on the sofa, and he's like, "Oh God!"
Oh my God! We bought a sectional sofa, and I thought, well, that'd be nice for like cuddling. I'd sit at one end and he'd sit at the other. And this thing was massive, and then Ramsey would just be in between, running between the two of us, loving that it was like
loving life,
loving life. Yeah. But it was not like that at all. Yeah.
It's funny how you can paint these pictures of how things are going to be. I think maybe that's part of the thing sometimes, particularly if you sort of try and plan having sex too much. I know some people say, well, we're going to have it on Wednesday.
That's what I think. That's actually but I think for some people that are really busy or that have kids,
get away.
I think that it's a good idea. Well, I know it's not spontaneous, but I think
so. What do you do? Just like get engaged? Let's get started.
No, I've never done that. But I think that if you said, if you're busy and you've got, like I said, kids, and it's like, okay, well, the kids, go to their grandma on Thursday night.
I cannot subscribe to planning it a week in advance.
In between that, that you could just have spontaneous sex. But I thought scheduling it in a couple of times a week, I reckon it's a really good idea, because at least then it happens.
Well, yeah, but the pressure must just be like, come on, you've got to do it now. No, absolutely not. It's like when you're trying for a baby and they're all of a sudden like, right, you've got to do it now because I'm ovulating or whatever it might be. Just anything, but it's not what I want to do. But then it becomes functional.
I'm sure there are people that do schedule it in.
Oh, no.
And at least that way they're having it. I just thought that was a really good idea, but, I do like to plan and schedule things.
I tell you what, you can do, right?
But in between it, you could have spontaneous sex.
On your meal planner, right? You've got your meal planner and your shopping list. You can then tick what days of the week. Yeah,
I need to put it down.
And then it will happen.
But
I think on your vision board.
But I think definitely, exercising helps.
Yes, it
Well,
makes
and
you feel
eating
really
healthy,
perky, doesn't it? Uh-huh.
and eating healthy, because it just makes you feel good overall. And I think that's what's important, you know, and feeling confident. I mean, you know, it's not to say just because I don't, you know, flash. Sometimes when he's out mowing the lawn, I go and push my boobs up against one of the windows.
What, naked?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Honest.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he doesn't even notice. And then I've just left these two massive marks on the window.
The thing is, you should leave them there, and then about a month later, you'd be like, "Why? How did that happen?"
He wouldn't
you
even
can make
notice.
up some story.
I used to just walk out. Sometimes I just walk out and flash him and just jiggle him about.
Yeah.
But I don't do that anymore. No.
Well, maybe you should start.
Yeah, and I guess.
Maybe you could start, and then you could give him a snog, and then he'd be like, "Who are you?"
Right. Yeah.
But I honestly do believe that...
We'll check back on that one.
Yeah, okay. We'll put it as your goal for the end of this episode. Then next week I'll be like, "So, Lovoni,
how did your goal go?" Yeah, right. Oh, my goodness.
But I do think that you can create...
God, I hope my stepsons don't listen to this episode.
Well, they will, so it's fine.
And if I tell them don't listen to it, they'll listen to it.
They're definitely going to listen to it, yeah. But I think that, you know, I'm definitely sure that you create a vibe by creating a mood, just having that intimacy, just breaking the ice and just doing it anyway.
Right.
And having a laugh, because it's supposed to be, you know, a bit light-hearted. If you suddenly start overthinking these things, a bit like I'm saying Planet a Week next Wednesday, it's just not going to happen for me. I'm like, what on earth? But I don't know about people, but I think you've just got to try and...
That needs to be your goal.
A week next Wednesday.
It's just to plan the day. I
am never going to do that.
Oh, come on. That would be funny.
Yeah, but I'd be sitting there going, right then, okay, what should we start with?
So for you, because we've talked an awful lot about me.
Okay.
So you never sort of think, oh God, don't grab me there, or I don't want you to. God, good for you, girl.
No.
Yeah.
Never.
Huh.
I do feel less attractive,
right,
because of my extra weight.
Right.
So in myself, I'm like, oh God, I feel hefty, or I don't look as nice in my... Like, I can see my underwear doesn't look as nice, or, you know, because my tummy's hanging over more, or whatever. But I seem to separate that feeling from the connection feeling. So I will walk around naked in the morning. Right. Well, anytime, whatever.
Right.
I don't ever feel like, don't touch me there because it's fat. I might sometimes think, blimey, my tummy felt wobbly or whatever. Right. But it's like a fleeting moment. It would never make me feel like I'm not worth being there. Yeah. I never once have experienced that feeling about my partner either. It's just I've never once thought, blooming heck. No, I've seemed to separate my body consciousness, which I do have, mainly if I'm getting dressed to go out and I don't feel like I'm feeling good in what I've got on, or I see a photograph and think you can really see the extra weight that I've gained, or I don't like how I look in that photo, or whatever it might be. But that's very different to being in that. Sorry, no, I don't ever feel like that.
That's good.
Would you feel like that if you had like full lights on, and so I guess maybe, I don't know. Huh. Maybe the visual thing would affect me more. Right. Because
there's, like, you know, some people prefer all the lights off. And see, that doesn't bother me. Lights on, lights off. No.
I prefer lights off because I find it more intimate.
Right.
Because I think you rely on your senses more.
Yeah.
That's
definitely
the only reason. It's not from a shyness thing. Yeah. It's just on that. I find it way more intimate and more connected. So yeah, I prefer lights off.
Do you have to do the whole look at them thing? I just no.
No. Does that ruin you imagining someone else if you have to look at them?
Oh God, no, I don't do that. But I just think, I don't know.
I mean, no, I don't have to do that, no.
Okay.
I know who I'm in bed with, it's fine.
Well, no, but some people like you to look at them when you're having sex with them. Okay. Well, that's good.
But then, as I say, we're very tactile, so maybe that sort of connection's already there, so I don't feel like I need to create it by doing other things. I've been like, when I was married, we weren't physical at all, not at all.
Really?
We just didn't. Yeah, and we did exactly. We were worse than you. We weren't even on the same sofa. We were on the other side of the room to each other.
Right.
And ultimately, that's one of the reasons why our marriage didn't work. There wasn't anything wrong with either of us. The way that we needed to do it, it just didn't match.
Didn't
and I
connect.
think,
Didn't connect.
and that, you know, I am very tactile and he's not. And so one of the reasons that the marriage didn't work is that we wanted and needed different things. And I just mean even just holding hands down the street, or, you know, I'm not talking about anything excessive.
Right.
And he's just the sort of person that doesn't want to be physically touched, basically. And so I struggled with those things. And so I realised after I came out of that relationship that it's really important to me to have that, more so than sex. It's more that tactileness.
Like to be hugged and... Yeah.
Hugged, hold hands, sit next to each other on the sofa and cuddle.
Or just some sort of like physical... It doesn't even have to be a partner, but I think... Just, you know, for people who feel alone, you know, maybe that don't go out, that are, you know, they go out, but I think... Not
social,
that are struggling with their weight, just not having that connection with, that physical connection with
being
people
touched,
on any level, like being hugged or, you know, just... You know, somebody to hold their hand or... Isn't
physical connection so odd, though? So when, say, for example, my son and I have had a huge row. We've talked about this before between the two of us because you and your husband are similar sort of dynamic to me and my son. And we've had a huge blazing row. I'm over it if I'm really upset, it does linger with me. But what I can do quite quickly is say, come and have a hug and we'll put it right. And he's like, the last thing in the world I want is for you to touch me. And I sort of have to take a step back and go, what do you mean? If I hug you, it'll all be, you know, I don't mean as in it's settled down.
Right.
He said, I don't want you to touch me.
Yeah.
So for me, the touch is really important because for me, it soothes things. It creates a connectivity again. For him, touch really inflames because he's just like, I just don't want you near me for the minute. Yeah, and then it wears off. And then a bit later on, he'll come and give me a hug. So you're very much like my son.
Right.
And I'm very much like your husband with regards to that sort of, and maybe because we're the same star sign or whatever, I don't know. But it's interesting what physical touch does for some people. A bit like you saying in bed, like, don't touch me in bed. I just want my own space. I just like my
like I don't need to be cuddled to go to sleep. You know what I mean?
You know, you just like your own space. Some people just want to be hugged to go to sleep.
Right.
I'm not one of those. I'm sort of in the middle. But it's really interesting what the power of touch does. But then it's also interesting how you can recoil, isn't it, from being touched if you don't want to be touched. And maybe when you are particularly self-conscious. So say, for example, if I was out and about and I felt self-conscious about my tummy in a dress or something, if someone touched my tummy, I would be like recoil and jump back. That bit I'd be really self-conscious about. So there's many layers of this, I think, that happen. And I don't think it's necessarily being extremely overweight. You know, I've got slim friends that have gained a few pounds, just a few pounds, and already they don't feel the same confidence in their body that they did 4 or 5 pounds ago. That's it. But yet they're very slim, very petite, but they're a bit, you know, my friend sort of says, I need to get a load of weight off. I want to feel confident to be going out in the summer and all this sort of thing. And I find it fascinating because I look at her and think, you're so perfectly petite. I can't understand how that can happen. But what you have to remember is it's changes in your body, isn't it?
Right.
So it's not so much the actual size of yourself, it's the change to your body. And that's why I was asking you at the beginning of this, I guess, of the episode, is that change, whether it has affected you and whether it happened over time or whether you just one day woke up and I just feel very different towards my body and towards sex, basically.
Yeah. No, it happened over time. And
if you were single now,
right,
like unexpectedly found yourself single, how do you think you would approach that with regards to dating and meeting men? Do you think that you'd be able to find an inner confidence?
I wouldn't be this overweight.
Right.
To be honest. And yeah, I really don't think that I would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, But it just devil's advocate,
okay,
if you found yourself now, do you think you could find an inner confidence to go out dating and feeling sexual towards a new partner as you are now, or do you just can't see it happening?
No. No. I'd just.
So what would you do? You just wouldn't do it.
I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I'd do what I'm doing now, which is exercising and
yeah, but right. I mean, as in you wouldn't put yourself out there today.
No, not today.
Okay.
No, definitely not. I'd have to, and I wouldn't wait until I'd lost all the weight that I want to lose, but
no,
it'd be when I got to a point that I just felt better again.
And do you think that's because of the kind of guy that you would attract, or do you think it's just that you just wouldn't be prepared to sort of put yourself there at all?
No, it's just me. Yeah, it's how I feel. I'm not thinking about they wouldn't like it. It's all about how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah, and what they think doesn't matter. I mean, the men that I don't know that we're talking about, those pretend men. Obviously, what my husband thinks matters.
You're not on an app, no.
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 But no, it's because it's about me. It's just about me wanting to feel good for me.
Yeah.
And nobody else. We should come back to this, say, in 6 months.
Yeah.
And just see, what's changed.
Well, do you know what's interesting is we talked about in the last episode, you've lost just over a stone since the end of March.
But
when we were talking,
14 pounds, which is about
7 kilos.
7 kilos, roundabout. Mm-hmm. Well, hang on, no, it's more than 14 pounds. We decided
15 pounds.
Because it's 7 kilos I've lost. Yeah.
But you said when we were talking privately that you couldn't feel it yet in your body, or see it yet in your body.
I can't see it or feel it. No.
But I think that as that slowly starts to kick in, even if you can start to feel it a little bit, I think that will really affect your feeling about yourself.
Yeah.
Even just, I don't mean that you'll feel like you're there, but just that change in your body, I think will give you a little pep, and that will then change things.
Because all my goals are if I go back and look at each state that I've moved from or country. Right.
You're trying to get back to those.
They're my goals, and so, it could be when I get to Florida. I'm not saying I'm going to wait to have sex to do this. Just
your husband's like, thank the Lord.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this. It's just, they're my goals, and I think I'm reaching the first one will make a big difference. So getting there, I'm nearly there.
I haven't done mine like that at all. There are, many times in my past when I have been so much smaller, but I just haven't focused on those for this time.
Right.
I'm literally just, like we said before, really small chunking with the ultimate goal that I want to be really healthy. Mm-hmm. Really by the autumn, I want to be a lot healthier and stronger than I am now.
Right.
So that's my goal. And then within that, I've just literally broken it down to like a pound at a time.
Yeah.
So I get one off, right, okay, next one. Get that one off, right, next one. And that's all that I'm doing.
That's the way to do it.
Chip, chipping it away. But my ultimate goal is to be strong and healthy by autumn.
Right. My, and I do that. It's like, as long as I have a loss this week, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Just to keep being consistent, I think. That's, for me, that's a big thing.
I saw a Instagram reel where a woman had a huge jar of Skittles.
Okay.
And she took one Skittle out, and then she looked at the bowl and was like, no different. So, I'll try again. So she took one more Skittle out. Anyway, this went on, and after 7 Skittles, she's like, well, it's made no flipping difference. What's the point?
Right.
So she said, what I could do is just bin it all in. So then she got a whole massive packet of Skittles and tipped them all back in again, because effectively what happens, they have a big blowout, and not only the £7 that you might have lost, you then put another 21 back on. Do you know, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
But then she said, look what happens if I just keep taking one out and I don't put any back in. She said, within a matter of months, look how many have come out. And you can visibly see a massive difference. And I thought about that as like, you've just got to keep chipping it away and have the faith. Have faith in the fact that this is working.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're eating less, eating right, getting some sort of exercise, some sort of movement.
But that is another thing to remember. Sex is a great form of exercise. You burn a lot of calories.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, good for
So
you.
maybe you could. Good for you. I was just about to say you could add that into yours.
Obviously not a quickie.
I was just going to say add it into your exercise program.
Right, I'll just pop it into my my watch.
Add that in.
Exercise.
You know that 50-minute and 10-minute block.
Right, yeah. Oh, there you go. Just 10 minutes in between the 50. Or are you talking about the 50 in between the 10s?
I'm glad that you batted it in my direction. You were like, right, you could do that then.
But we'll definitely, we'll report back.
Yeah, let's come back in 6 months.
In 6 months and check. Yes, for sure. So, cooking-wise, what's happening in Sarah's kitchen? What's going to be happening? What's upcoming?
Yeah. I would like to do... I was really inspired by your shrimp salad, the one that went viral.
Oh, the Vietnamese one?
Yeah, I can't say that word, so yeah, that... I say it wrong and then all of my family laugh at me, so I'm not going to say it. That looks
the Asian shrimp salad. That's good. It was just really... It just had all those textures and flavours and, things that the Southeast Asian cuisine has.
It did look really good.
Yeah, that's something I could eat like every week and not get sick of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put iceberg lettuce in it, and it was just the fact that I had it in the fridge from something I'd been working on. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been there. Instead of cabbage. Yeah, it was really, really good. Yep. So, that's it?
Just every night of the week. That's all I'm going to eat.
That's good.
We'll have that for 7 nights. Lots more salmon still. We've been eating a lot of salmon.
Do you can salmon?
No, canned tuna I do, but not...
Right, as long as it's not hot.
As long as it's not hot.
Yeah.
As we talked about last episode. Just canned tuna or salmon fillets that I just cook in the oven for like 12 minutes. With chili flakes on the top.
Air fry salmon. Air fry salmon is so good. I know I'm talking about air fryer again.
Stop going on about the air fryer.
I know. I'm trying to convince Sarah to buy an air fryer.
I know. I will buckle. I will do it.
Yeah. It's salmon in it is like
maybe I'll get one before my next surgery, and then maybe my son will be like, "Oh, I'll play with the new gadget," and he can cook dinner.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Well, a couple of pieces, especially if you get one with the 2 drawers, a couple of pieces in salmon in one, and then some asparagus or something and veggies in the other.
And then how long does it take?
Not long, like less than 15 minutes.
Well, that's how long it takes me in the oven.
Well, no, but you don't have to heat anything up.
Right.
It just cooks it so nicely. It goes really crisp on the outside. It's just, Okay. And maybe it's less than that. Asparagus take no time in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing potatoes in there. Just cut a potato, big potato in half. Yeah. Oh, so good in the air fryer. And then we just have half a potato each.
Do they get crispy?
Yeah. They're really, really nice.
Because they do take a long time. They take about over an hour in the
I think it's like 20 minutes in the air fryer.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly. But my husband does them, and I'm going to put it on my website. I've been saying for ages I was going to do it.
Okay.
But I thought, it's so simple. But, simple's good. I've got so many ideas for simple salads that I want to
now's the time because here and there in summer, so now's the time for it.
Like just with things like the zucchini and maybe some fresh mozzarella or, burrata and some dill, just simple things like that.
Oh, I'll tell you what we had the other day. We had vegan feta.
Okay.
Feta. It was. I know your face is like. It was really delicious. It was really creamy compared to normal feta.
Did it have what was it made from? Cashews?
I don't know because it was in a cafe.
Oh, but, okay.
So we had it. We chose off the menu.
Right,
but it was honestly, I much preferred it to the just regular feta.
Really? Did it have that really nice creamy saltiness?
It did, but it wasn't quite as tangy. Like feta can be a bit
yeah.
Or at least the feta that you buy from the supermarket that's in kind of a block, and then you cut it up like sort of salad cheese or whatever. But it was much creamier. It felt to me almost a cross between a goat's cheese and a mozzarella. That kind of consistency. It was different. But yeah, it was very nice. But anyway, just reminded me we were talking about salads. I think that would be nice on a salad.
Huh. What are your goals for next week?
So I've got 2 really. I want to continue with the sort of the clean eating that I was doing, and I want to increase my steps to 10,000 a day.
Okay.
I'm ranging between 7 and 8,000 at the moment. So
That's
I think
good.
one good long walk a day will then get me up to where I need to be. So I want my steps to be 10,000 a day, and I'm going to look at doing strength training 3 times a week.
Oh, okay. That's 3 things.
Well, the continuing thing was just, that's a standard. That's what we've got to do anyway,
right.
really, isn't
Strength
it?
training.
We've all got to eat like that,
Yeah.
really. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, strength training's good. That makes me feel good. That's my
What
favourite.
are you going to do? What are your goals?
Oh, my goals are to, because, I've got to go away. Mm-hmm. So I'm packing some healthy snacks for the road, because I think that, especially here, because everywhere has a drive-through.
How long is the journey?
10 hours.
Oh, wow.
And it's so easy when you're starving to just, how do you want to pull into, a fast food joint? And, and once I'm there, I know, oh my God, fries,
Temptation.
Too much temptation. So I'm going to put some snacky things like some sugar snap peas and the little tomatoes, carrots, cucumber, radishes. I'm going to make like a couple of homemade dips for those.
Yep.
And I'm going to make a couple of turkey wraps. This is just for the road. And take some nuts, some seeds, and some chopped up fruit, which I'll probably have all
wraps,
that eaten before the Illinois state line.
Do you actually wrap the contents in slices of turkey, or do you put that inside a wrap?
No, I was going to do it in a wrap, but now you've said that.
Although lettuce leaves are quite good.
Yeah, I think for travel purposes, though, I think maybe like but just one of the small tortillas, not a big one. So, I'm going to do that. And then, I won't be cooking anything for a whole week nearly. And so I just really, really want to be mindful of not going hog wild and putting the weight back on that I worked so hard to
Do you know, one way I managed that over the weekend was I went really light for breakfast and lunch, like really light.
Yeah.
I did gain weight at the end, but I think some of that was swelling because of the alcohol and just the sugary stuff that always makes it happen. But it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So, I went really light on breakfast and lunch so that dinner didn't matter quite so much.
Right. Yeah, I'll probably try and just do 2 meals or something like that. Drink lots of water, and I don't want to drink a lot of alcohol, so I'm just saying to my husband, I'll drive.
Yeah.
Because that, not for the 10 hours, which I could. He won't let me take over that, but just when we go out, because that way I won't drink.
Yeah, just then it curbs that, doesn't it?
So, yeah, it curbs it. And even, even if I do, I just have to have some bloody self-control, really, at the end of the day. Yeah, you want to enjoy yourself, and I will do that. But I don't want it to be a reason, like we talked about in our travel episode and staying on point when you are away. I just don't want it to be a free-for-all just because I would have done that in the past.
A license.
License to do it. I don't, I won't have access to, my equipment at home to work out, or my bike, because I'm not taking that. But, I'll go for some walks. Yeah, I'll do that and just move about.
Even just using your body weight, like some push-ups against a wall and stuff like that. It's just moving, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm having a massage done, I don't know if that counts or anything. But, yeah, on my back.
That would be lovely.
I need it for my back. Anyway, so, yeah, well, they sound like good goals.
Yeah. Fab.
Next week, we're talking about discipline, which I have to say, the child in me, or the teenager in me thought, that's so funny saying that after we've just been talking about sex. It's like a bondage, like sex and discipline. Is that bad? I shouldn't even say it. That's probably a thought I should have kept to myself. Because
it's out there now.
It's out there now. But anyway, so next week we're talking about discipline and the importance of it for achieving what we want. We have a special guest on. Charlene from Indiana in the US is talking to us about what it was like to survive boot camp and join the US Marines. which I have been told, not necessarily by her, but it's just a known thing that they're the hardest part of the military to get into.
Yeah.
Plus, when she did it, she's just a few years younger than me. I guarantee that there was very few women doing it too. And apparently the women have to do the same as the men.
Okay.
And see, she also wants to lose weight. And I've said to her, good grief, woman, you did that. That's amazing. You know, and it's amazing
to see the change in mindset.
Well, it's just amazing to think that you can achieve something that monumental, and how for losing weight for so many people is such a struggle.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, that just blows my mind.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, so that'll be really interesting. So stay tuned for that. As always, thank you for listening. Please connect with us on social media. Lovoni and Sarah, we're on Instagram. And we have a website. If you wouldn't mind going and subscribing to it. We send a newsletter out once a week. That would be great. We'd appreciate that very much. Anyway, I hope that today's subject has given you some pause for thought.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too TMI, but anyway,
well,
hopefully
it's good to share.
It is good to share. Maybe a little overshare, but like I said, we'll report back and see how we are in 6 months. Sarah obviously is going to be fine.
And still zero guilt.
Still with zero guilt. But, we're hoping Lovoni's going to be doing better.
We are.
Anyway. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.
Bye.